So Carl Froch gains revenge over Mikhail Kessler, the first man to ever beat him, with a unanimous 12-round decision. There was no controversy this time. I had Carl Froch winning the fight pretty comfortably in the end. It was a rough, tough fight. Carl Froch started out very well early on in the fight. He established control with his jab. He was using his reach advantage. Mikhail Kessler took quite a long time to get warmed up in the fight and quite a long time to solve the puzzle of how to get past Carl Froch's jab. When the pace slowed down a little bit, Kessler was able to finally find his range, and he started landing some decent hooks and decent combinations from about the 5th or 6th round onwards. But I thought Carl Froch was the more active fighter in there. Kessler was fighting in spurts where Carl Froch was more consistent. He was landing his jab consistently, he was throwing consistently. And I always felt that Carl Froch was in control throughout the entire duration of the fight. Late on in the fight, there was a few occasions where Kessler did land with some big bombs. I think in the 11th round he landed a combination which did appear to rock Carl Froch slightly, right? Kessler jumped straight in to try and, finish Froch off, but Froch showed the amazing punch resistance and powers of recovery that he's so famous for, and he was able to ride the storm and come right back at Kessler. Overall, this was a good fight, and Carl Froch was able, like I said, to get revenge over the first man to ever beat him, and there was no controversy this time. It was a clear win in my eyes for Carl Froch. Now, the question is, how much of tonight's result was due to Carl Froch improving, and how much of it was to do with Mikhail Kessler deteriorating since their first fight? Now, I am convinced that Carl Froch has improved quite a bit from the first fight with Mikhail Kessler. I'm convinced he has improved quite a lot since then. But at the same time, judging by Mikhail Kessler's most recent performances before this fight, a case could be made that Mikhail Kessler has deteriorated quite a bit since their first fight. Also, the fact that Mikhail Kessler's had injuries, he's had surgeries, he's had more fights than Carl Froch. He's got more wear and tear on him than Carl Froch. He's been a professional, I believe, 4 years longer than Carl Froch. He's also been talking about retirement. Even before this fight was announced, for the past couple of years, he's been flirting with retirement. So, a man who's been flirting with retirement, is that the kind of man who still believes that he's in his prime? Do prime fighters really start flirting with the idea of retirement if they still feel like they've got a whole heap of gas left in the tank? Do they really flirt with retirement? These things are up for debate. But like I say, I am convinced that Carl Froch has improved since his first fight with Kessler. And, he got the revenge that he wanted. Now, I was watching a video by Boxpred, excellent channel, and he basically pointed out that this fight here wasn't just Froch versus Kessler 2. It wasn't just about Froch getting his revenge over Kessler. It was also about Froch versus Calzaghe, because Froch has had this pretty much obsession with Joe Calzaghe for most of his career. He's always, wanted to try and surpass Joe Calzaghe's achievements. Now, his promoter Eddie Hearn has said that getting revenge over Kessler makes Carl Froch an all-time great. I strongly disagree with that. There's still a man named Andre Ward who beat both Kessler and Froch handily before. Froch has also got unfinished business with Andre Durrell, a man who many people thought beat Carl Froch. He also had a very close fight with Jean Pascal. There's a lot of loose ends there for Carl Froch to tie, in my opinion, before we can start talking about him being an all-time great. Carl Froch is a very good fighter. He's an excellent fighter. He's tough. He's strong. He showed good tactical awareness. His defensive lapses are still there. He's still not the most elusive guy in the world. But he has improved and he is a very good fighter. But I don't think people should get too carried away talking about all-time great and all these kind of things. For me, Joe Calzaghe has still got a bit of resume at the moment in Carl Froch. Yes, Carl Froch did get a revenge win over Kessler, but in my opinion, this was definitely not the same Mikhail Kessler who fought Joe Calzaghe. Alright? Joe Calzaghe also has the win over Bernard Hopkins. right? Will Froch step up to face Hopkins? If Froch does step up to face Hopkins and manages to beat Hopkins, you know, that may and that will, give him a more realistic chance of surpassing Joe Calzaghe's achievements, right? Then we can start talking about him maybe being as good as Calzaghe or maybe even better than Calzaghe. Although, even beating Hopkins, he wouldn't be beating the same Hopkins who Calzaghe beat, right? Calzaghe beat Hopkins a long time ago. So he's going to have to go quite a long way and do quite a lot, in my opinion, to surpass Joe Calzaghe's achievements. But at the moment, he's on the right road. He's showing improvements. He's still plenty fresh. He's still got plenty of determination. He's still hungry, even though he's like, in his mid-30s. He's still hungry like a young fighter. So, we'll see what he can do. He'll probably be looking for, maybe a fight with Andre Ward at some point. But for now, he might look in another direction. He might look towards George Groves. That would be a big domestic dust-up. Yeah, Groves definitely wants to fight Carl Froch. So that could be an interesting fight right there. In terms of the UK scene, the domestic scene, that could be an interesting domestic fight right there. But other than that, yeah, he could go for Hopkins if he fancies it. Although I personally doubt that he'll fight Hopkins, because the way he's been talking about Hopkins recently, it don't look too promising. It don't look like he really wants that fight that much. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what he chooses to do. There's also a rematch with Lucien Boutte possibly out there, or at least the winner of Lucien Boutte against Jean Pascal, because obviously he's fought both of them before, and the winner of that fight could be there for him. So yeah, there's plenty of options on the table for Carl Froch going on from here. But like I say, in my opinion, he's got quite a way to go, and he has to achieve quite a lot for him to be on the same level, at least like I say, in my opinion, as Joe Calzaghe. Right? He's got to do quite a lot in my eyes. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people disagree with that. And as far as Andre Ward, I don't think Carl Froch can improve enough in his lifetime to be able to beat Andre Ward. I mean, he's always got a chance against Ward because Froch is a big puncher and he's got a good chin. And a guy like that, he has a chance against anyone with that kind of chin and that kind of punch. But skills-wise, even though he's improved, I still don't think he's improved enough to beat a guy like Andre Ward. But we'll see down the line if he decides to take that fight. But yeah, man, tonight was a good victory for Froch. He finally got revenge over the first man to beat him. So hats off to Carl Froch. It was a good performance. He showed, good jab. Used his range very well. Tactics was, for the most part, spot on. A few defensive lapses, but can't complain too much. Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed this fight. It was a good fight. But leave your comments in the comment section below. How did you feel about Froch's performance? Do you think that this was more down to Froch's improvement or Kessler's deterioration? I'm sure it was definitely a bit of both, but in equal measure, or more leaning towards one or the other. Let me know in the comment section below. Where do you think Carl Froch should go from here? What do you think is an interesting fight for him? Me personally, I would have liked to see Froch Stevenson. As crazy as people think that sounds, I think that was an interesting fight. But yeah, leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about all the topics I've covered in this video. This is Hatman. I'm out.